Hi guys, today I have a review about Andy Tower, and I want to do it a little bit quick because it is a lot that I have. I have 8 fragrances for you, and a lot of you will know more about Andy Tower than me, but for some people who don't know all this, I will tell you a little bit about Andy Tower fragrances and what I think of it. And you have to remember that every skin is different and every fragrance will smell different on different skins. So you cannot go from reviews, you have to smell the fragrances yourself to know if it fits to you. You know, you can just not buy blind a fragrance if you just heard a review and you don't know how it is on your skin. You have to know how it develops on your skin. So always try some samples, I would say. Okay, so I have 8 fragrances and I start with the most popular one. But first a little bit about Andy Tower. Andy Tower is a guy, he lives in Switzerland. Tower is like a German name, but he is not German, he is American. He comes from a little town in Kansas, the United States. He is a countryside boy. He grew up in a little town with a lot of smells from a little town with hay, and there were a lot of dogs, and he was cuddling the dogs. And his father worked, I think, in a pharmacy. So you must be used to pharmaceutical smells, and you can be in a garage and smell oil sometimes, or leather, and maybe some horses. And that's where he grew up, but he was a sensitive kid. He was a sensitive guy. He was like a little bit feminine in some way. He's a shy guy. He's a nice guy also, very social, very nice person. He also worked just like a regular guy in the IT business, I think. And he finally ended up in Amsterdam, like some other perfumers did, like Alessandro Gualtieri from Nasomatto, and well, I think Van Eusersdorf is there. And it's a nice place. And Mona Diorio wanted to live in Amsterdam before she sadly passed away. But you know, Amsterdam has some inspiration to perfumers, and Andy Tower developed and he got the relation. He got married with a Dutch person, and he went to Switzerland. And he started to make perfumes, and he was in the community of perfume lovers, and he showed his perfumes. They were smelling it, they were liking it, and it was picked up by Luca Turin. He is like a famous perfume reviewer, maybe the best in the world, I don't know. And he made a book, and he was very happy with his first big fragrance called Air du Desert Marocain, like the desert wind of Morocco. I have it here. It's my first fragrance. I'm going to tell you about it, and I have 7 more. So let's start with Air du Desert Marocain. It's this one. I reviewed it before. It is like an incense fragrance, very beautiful. It's like a sweet incense fragrance, or like incense oud kind of fragrance. At the time I had to choose between 3. It was Jubilation 25, Air du Desert Marocain, and Nasomatto Black Africano. I chose Nasomatto Black Africano because it wasn't sweet. I didn't like the sweet thing of it, but if you like sweet things, it smells like a Medina. Medina is like a wall in an Arabic city. Within the Medina you have little stores. And you can smell flowers, you can smell food, you can smell a lot of things there, and incense, of course. And this one, you know, this is like, I've been in Morocco. To me, this is like fruits in the Medina. That's what it is to me. It is like a fruity Medina smell. And it also gets, in the end, a little bit more creamy. So it's a creamy floral incense smell. And it's nice. And it's woody and dry. Very nice fragrance, and got very, very popular. It's like 5 star in the review of Luca Turin. And that gave him like a rocket launch of his fragrances. And then after that there was another one. He experimented with leather. So let's make a little journey. We're in Morocco and we're in this Medina. And some wind from the desert comes in. We smell the flowers and the desert wind. And then we go into the desert and we camp with our horses and camels. And we smell some leather and some coffee and some dry wood. Yeah, you have beautiful sandalwood also and cedar wood in Morocco. But there we smell some leather. It's supposed to be this, a lot of people smell this campfire and leather saddles from the horses in this fragrance. It's called Lonestar Memories. And but I have a different nose. I smell suede leather and I smell chemicals like oil from a car. That's what I smell in this. So that is what it is to me. It's like really a seat from a car. But I have more leather seat car smells like nostalgia from this house in Florence, and I have another one, beautiful one from the Pays de Fleur d'Orange. This house with this ombre, lavender ombre fragrance. That is really a leather seat fragrance with lavender. And to be honest, I like that better than this. So this is to me too much oil, chemical stuff with leather, but some people like it, and if you work in a garage, you will probably like this fragrance. Then we go to that, but that's personal, maybe it's like perfect on you, but that's what it is to me. So then we go to number 3, and that is like Incense Extreme. That's this one. I have a sample here. Now this is like meeting the Arabic guy in the desert after we saddle our horses in the morning and we meet some guy who has incense and some oud, and he burns some oud. Some ambergris, it has this boswellia raisins from India, and it's very extreme in some way with the incense. That's what it's supposed to be, and that's what it smells to a lot of people. And how does it smell on me? This Incense Extreme, to me, actually smells very, very fresh in some way. I don't know why, but it smells on my skin, or I smell some camphor. That's where they disinfect like hospitals with this smell. That also I smell it in bandage, like new bandage or open bandage and cotton. Also I smell woods. Of course I smell a lot of wood and grass and patchouli. But also it has this it ends in a very nice woody incense atmosphere. And that's what it is. This Incense Extreme is not so extreme. It's like a nice incense woody smell, a dry smell. Yeah, very nice. You also have this in Robert Piquet Bois Noir. Like, that's what I smell. And it gives this vibe as if the moist is sucked from the wood. It's not burning, but it's dry. And it's nice. Number 3. Okay, then number 4. Incense Rose. We're finally out of the desert. We're walking into a garden with some rose. There's some water, and we still smell the incense from our last experience. And then we go to the Incense Rose. It's this one. And this is rose and incense. And it's supposed to be a mystical dark rose. But it is actually in the opening really a fruity rose. Really, believe me. It's fruity. It's lemony, it's milky. I smell lemon and milk, and that's why I like it so much. It has a lot of lemon and milk, and it's sparkling. It's beautiful. It's a fruity rose. It has some synthetic notes, but it's sparkling, nice, dry. It gets a really nice incense dry rose. It has white flowers. The tower loves these white flowers, this iris and jasmine. But it's nice. It's really nice. Okay, then we go and continue, and then we find a vintage rose, a very beautiful old rose. It's supposed to be like a vintage rose, and it's about this story. It's like a Chypre rose. And I don't know if you know what Chypre is. Probably you know, because most people who watch his reviews are perfume lovers themselves. But Chypre is like oakmoss from Chypre, Cyprus, the island, Greece island. In Cyprus, there's this moss growing on the oak tree, so it's called oakmoss, and it's forbidden nowadays. Regulations made it impossible because one on 10,000 people have like an allergy for it, so it's like nonsense to ban it. mean, cigarette smoke is dangerous, but what about oakmoss? 1 on 10,000 people have like a little problem with it, so they banned it, and now they made like a new chemical thing that smells on oakmoss. It's not bad, but you know the original, also English fern is like a sort of a moss, and that's still pretty good, I think. But oak moss is the first oak mosses were made in 18 something, but the first like original oak moss made and called Chypre was from Coty, and Mr. Coty lived on Place Vendôme. He had a store there in Paris, and he made from this oak moss from Cyprus. He made the first Chypre, and it's called Coty Chypre. And I show you the old bottle. It's made in 2012. And then he made a reformulation, I think, in 2017. I also show you that bottle. I just visited a place where they have this old Chypre fragrances, and I was able to buy one of those fragrances. But I think Andy Tower has it also, and he wanted to make it from the line Homage, this fragrance. So the classic line has numbers, and then he has a Homage line, and he has two other lines, the collectibles line, and he has pentachords line. He calls it like fragrance sculptures. But I can understand, because it's like an image you can show with your fragrance, and it makes him happy to do it. That's the most important, that you do things that make you happy, and he likes to make it, and he's popular and successful with it. And then we have the Une Rose Chypree, that's that vintage rose. That's what it's supposed to be. It is actually a dry rose. It is like an oakmoss patchouli rose, and it definitely also has gardenia and tuberose, I think. It has a lot of florals, and actually it ends up in a floral rose, and with a hint of oakmoss and you know, and incense. But Andy Tower is a white flower lover, so there's iris, jasmine, there's a little bit of gardenia also, and I think it's rose, which is also floral, of course, but it has these white florals and rose. That's what his fragrance is. It's vintage, feminine rose smell with this white flower. So if you like rose and you're like a jasmine lover, this will work for you, probably. And I think it's the homage to the Chypre. And then we have Une Rose Vermeille, this one. And I'll show you, you know, this Rose Vermeille is a sweet rose. It's a candy rose. It's really American in some way. It smells the same like in New Harlem. This kind of sweet thing, this maple syrup thing that they have with breakfast in the United States. We always had in the morning this syrup and this pancakes. That's what you smell here with rose. So it's a really Andy Tower American history fragrance to me. It's like rose with cookies. It's a fruity rose. So it's nice if you like rose and you like raspberry and violets, a little bit lipstick. That is what it is. It is a fruity rose. Okay, and then from there we are in the garden of roses. We finally found some fruit, and we found some orange tree, and we found an orange star. That's this one. And orange, it opens really fresh and nice with this bitter petitgrain kind of thing. It's proven that the smell of oranges calms people down. They want to use it in some places like in public transport. After a few minutes it really gets on my skin very chemical. I smell oil, spiritus, I smell some floral thing. And Andy Tower has a love-hate relation, I read, with orange, the orange tree. And his fragrances have mostly it has oud, white florals, incense, that's like the base of his fragrances, and there's some petitgrain. It ends up in a feminine floral thing, strangely enough. It's like orange, but it ends up in a feminine floral. So if you like these florals and you like it with a hint of fruit, then you could try this orange star. And then the last one is the noontide petals. Noontide petals, I have it here. It is the Orange Star is created in 2010, and the Noontide Petals is created in 2013. So it's his last creation, and he's pretty successful. And I think He took from all his little bottles a little bit and mixed it together in this noontide petals, because it's like a mix of florals and cut green grass, because it's really a green field smell. It has a lot with the same vibe as the Incense Extreme. This is the third one I told you about, but this one also has a lot of green in it, like cut grass or something. So I smell a green field of grass, and on top all kinds of flowers and florals, and then this modern. It's not modern because Chanel started with it, I think. Ernest Beau probably with Raleigh, but it has this aldehyde kind of thing on it. So imagine a synthetic Chanel number 5 vibe, and then florals, and then cut grass, you know. So that's what it is. And it's not my taste. Absolutely not, because I don't like aldehydes that much. If I like it pure, and sometimes I like it. It's a little bit in some fragrances, like La Fatina delle Essenze has some fragrances aldehydes that I like, and of course in some Chanels. But to mix it with like a mix of all kind of florals, and then with these green fields, that's not for me, you know. But if you like that, it can be like your holy grail. If you're like if you like this mix of florals and green fields, and you really have to try it if you like it or not. It's very, very personal. So actually, my favorite is L'Air du Desert Marocain, and after that it is the Incense Rose. And that's what I wanted to tell you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.